Mario and Rabbids together was already such an insane premise. How could these two IPs possibly work together, what with their different design sensibilities and senses of humor? But the team at Ubisoft knew exactly what to do. They toned down the hyperactive Rabbids and decided to give them different roles, including Mario character lookalikes that give us a fun spin on the dynamics of the originals. Rabbid Mario, Rabbid Peach, Luigi, Donkey Kong, and a lot more that come as fun surprises along the way. There's also plenty of new Rabbid characters as well, including Beepo, a little Roomba-looking bot that we found out from Sparks has been British the whole time. C-3PO's been real quiet since the news. And Spawny, a major catalyst for the game's story and overall premise. This Rabbid got a hold of a powerful headset that can combine objects into one single thing, reinforcing the crossover theme of this game. The Rabbids zip into one universe where they don't belong and into another where they don't belong. That being the Mushroom Kingdom. Here we go. And when they arrive, chaos ensues. It's up to Mario and his friends lookalikes, to save the day and set things back to normal. Hopefully. You know the deal, plenty of bosses and baddies try to stop them in their tracks, from grunts to big bosses. But one boss in particular has stood the test of time for many players. A boss that's larger than life and can't help but shine in the spotlight. That's right, a being merged together from a simple rabbit, a boo balloon, and a gramophone, as well as the team at Ubisoft with the help of industry veterans from all sorts of unexpected fields. This is the Phantom. So, might as well say, I've never played this game. This sort of real-time strategy genre is one I've never dabbled with, and every time I have, it confuses and frightens me. Why can't you just, attack, you know? I get it, though. I totally do. This kind of thing has just never really piqued my interest as a video game player. So, why am I here? Well, because of this.
Millions watching, are you ready for my rant? Rayman is a gangly, goofy, brainless, homeless headland.
Yeah, this immediately got my attention. How could it not? This is what I'm all about. Animation and music and character acting at this level. In a video game. Holy cow, this is a feat that needs to be recognized. It's not often we see a full-blown animated villain musical number in a game. I mean, they're also just not that common nowadays either way. The Phantom is a big operatic goofball with a flair for the dramatic. He's well-dressed, charismatic, funny, and absolutely adorable. He's just a joy to watch. From his first moments on screen in Kingdom, he showed us that he's nowhere near another simple mere rabbit. Not even close. Destroying that notion right away once he sings a note, and then he clears his throat with a cough into his handkerchief.
You think yours is a real mustache?
That's right. In a, honestly, fucking hilarious bit out of context, Phantom is a rabbit that can actually speak English.
Holy crap!
In fact, that's not the only human language he can speak. The Phantom, in a brilliant move by Ubisoft, who itself is a French studio, is inspired by the rich, century-old art of French opera. His outfit is inspired by the Enlightenment era. He wears a powdered wig and speaks with a thick French accent. Simultaneously, it's all meant to pay an homage to one of the most well-known French-inspired works, Phantom of the Opera. That's pretty obvious. But the efforts they took to make this into a reality were truly something else.
Costanza, tu m'insegni, e vai ch'io speri.
This is Augustin Camel, an accomplished French opera singer. He's performed many classical songs, backed by many live orchestras, a lot of amazing things under his belt, including being a makeup artist and a drag queen. And he's also the voice of the titular Phantom. This blows my mind.
So that is all you've got. You didn't hurt me a lot. I'll help you to recap. Between me and you, there's a gap.
We don't get many looks into the music process for games, at least from a mainstream perspective. I mean, the fact that Super Mario Galaxy's music was done with a live orchestra still just, wow, blows me away, even if it's been 16 years. Music for games, for the most part back then, was done with sound fonts and computer instruments, like with the N64, and especially consoles like the NES and the SNES. So to see so many people come together and use their musical skills to bring humanity into something that's mere fantasy? Is that not what art's all about? It's something beautiful in and of itself, really. Another unexpected appearance, but a welcome one, was Grant Kirkhope coming on to compose the music for this game. Well known for his cartoony and larger-than-life sensibilities in his music, he's perfectly brought so many bombastic games to life with his style of music like Banjo-Kazooie, Yooka-Laylee, and Donkey Kong 64. Having to be on the same level as Koji Kondo was a daunting feat for him, but he captured this game's tone and life so perfectly in his own unique way. Also, all the lyrics for Phantom songs, he wrote all of them. He also provided demo versions of them during development. He's not too proud of that though. They put so much effort and practice into the music of the game, it's just absolutely wonderful to see, right down to casting an actual French opera singer as the role of the Phantom. The reason I'm so surprised to see this is that I really thought it was just some voice actor who is really good at doing an impression of a French accent, and can mimic the style of opera well. You see this often in animated films with characters like Sebastian and Lumiere, both actors putting on an accent to fit the character's dialect. But no, Kamel is all of these things. The person they got is not pretending any bit of this at all. This is what he does and who he is. A French opera singer putting himself into a role of a big goofy rabbit ghost with a gramophone in his belly that belts his heart out is not a huge stretch for him at all. It just comes so naturally and effortlessly because of that. And the character we get from this effort and dedication is just, well, in his words, magnifique. So let's talk about that. The thing is, I've actually known about the Phantom existence for years now. A lot of people love him, including a friend of mine who does adorable art of him. And a lot of people have come to me, a now well-known fat character enjoyer, and asked my opinion of him. Watching a few clips, I could see the appeal, but honestly, he wasn't for me. I felt like I was missing something. Nothing about him really spoke to me in a way where I truly fell for him. Yes, sadly, I could not add him to my list of beloved Blorbos. He just didn't have what it took to steal my heart. Until Rayman showed up. The third and final DLC for Sparks of Hope was teased and hyped immensely, the developers heavily hinting that Phantom would make a return after being absent for 6 years. So the fandom was going nuts! After the game released and people were all excited over Rayman and the Phantom's return and a new story, I just kind of walked in on the action and was like, holy shit! It's a weird type of experience to be a part of for sure. You feel like you should be more excited, but you're not. You are, however, still very much in awe. There's been other things where I've felt the hype and been absolutely starstruck, but not here. And I'm not sure if I'd want to trade this experience or not if I had the choice. Nevertheless, his latest performance in the spotlight got me on board so much that I am now an honorary member of the Disastrously Obsessed with Phantom Club. Thank you, Fuposi. So then, what changed? Did something change? Why did his second appearance captivate me so much more compared to the first? Was there something I was missing, or has he perhaps improved his craft? Well, today we're going to look into just that. Let's go beyond the grave and examine his 4 songs throughout the franchise and learn what makes this pompous poltergeist defy death and truly stand the test of time. Before we go in, please keep in mind that I'm just looking at the cutscenes we are presented with and won't be referencing much else. This is what I first looked into, and I'm coming at this with a sort of outsider-looking-in mindset, as was my initial experience. I think it'll just keep everything focused. I do in fact know more about him than what's presented here. I've seen battle gameplay and behind-the-scenes things and scrawled wikis, but I'm more of examining from the perspective of analyzing a performance of animation, music, and most important, character. So you guys like numbers? In his first ever appearance, he's brought to life and comes out the gate fucking swinging, his target of choice immediately being Mario. What does he want here, exactly? Listening in, his jabs at the plumber come from a root of self-comparison, with him constantly stating attributes of Mario that make the plumber look weaker next to him. His mustache, his stout little body, his relationship with Peach, nothing is safe. This dude will not take a breath until he proves that he is fundamentally better than him. He's convinced that Peach will leave Mario for him because his art, talents, and style are just so much more superior than his. So does that come across well? There is a bit of a problem. Here, take a look. Do you notice it? The Phantom never actually addresses Mario in a solid, meaningful way. What do I mean? The way they establish connections in this scene is with shot reverse shots, and because of this, we never really see these two fully looking at each other. Are we to assume Mario's eyeline is up here? The same level as a much bigger, taller being that's floating a foot or two off the ground? No shot. There's a few instances where they make eye contact, and even one where the Phantom picks him up for a moment, but they don't address each other. Mario doesn't have a reaction to the Phantom here, rather he's just surprised at being held up and tossed. They're not really interacting with each other on that deep a level. Shots like these may indicate that they are in fact looking at each other, but it feels disconnected because we don't have a clear moment where their eyes or minds meet. They refuse to even entertain one another, leading to a flat performance. Another thing is that the Phantom is on stage farther away from everybody else. The only ones actually physically interacting with him are the other Rabbids that move set pieces. The fact he's higher up than Mario further represents his perceived superiority and reinforces his background as a performer, but it also creates a sense of disconnect. The fact they're so physically far away from each other feels like, it feels like,
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony!
The best way to describe this is that the Phantom is singing about Mario, but not to Mario. For an introduction, this is a good way of simply focusing on the character, but without the feedback of who they're singing to, it just doesn't feel as dynamic. Like, imagine if Friend Like Me from Aladdin was sung by the genie like 10 feet away from Aladdin, and we just kept cutting back to a live Aladdin reaction every few shots. This is what that feels like. I hope I'm articulating this well because this was my experience first seeing this performance. It doesn't help that for most of the time in his songs, he refers to Mario not directly, but by using the third person, using him and his when describing him. Like, buddy, who are you talking to? Now, do not get me wrong. As someone who now gets this character, I've grown to really like his debut song. His vocals, mannerisms, and style are just absolutely great. There's so many little flourishes and details in his performance I just adore. Like all the choreo when he's holding the plunger, Mario's tool of trade, and pointing it against him. Very fun. I also love the way his head shakes when he does vibrato. God, there's so many little things. Him giggling at the reaction he gets here. I missed this for a while. And him playfully scaring Rabbids. Very cute. Oh, I also like his little namby-pamby baby tantrum when he dies. By the way, side note, these deaths play two functions for his character. One, this is obviously your indicator that you beat him. This is feedback for the player. Two, this is taking great advantage of the character. Phantom, being a Phantom, can't actually die, so instead being the theater gay he is, takes the opportunity to act out a comedic, overly dramatic death instead. He cares less about his own mortality, since what is there to lose? It doesn't even cross his mind, and more about giving a good performance more than anything. Please don't get it twisted. What we got here is not bad at all, not by a long shot. I'm only trying to speak to what I felt when I first met him, that being from an outside observer's view. I have no doubt this absolutely dazzled people who actually played the game and were deeply immersed in its charm and world. As for me, well, you already know why I'm here. So let's have a look.
Well, well, look who did show up.
So like I said, Rayman makes a return into the 3D game scene in this DLC. Cool, yay, hooray, yippee. So, might as well say again, I haven't played much of Rayman either. Only thing I've played is like, I know who he is, but only thing I've played is like the Rayman Legends demo, and yeah, that's about it. I know a few things about the games, like Mr. Dark, and I like these little wizard guys and the little noise they make when charging an attack, and these cute girls, and his little shirt. Okay, anyway, back to the Phantom. I love this trailer. We get to hear more of his casual speaking voice and how he's constantly saying words in a dramatic inflection and operatic sing-song. So cute.
Let these silly ears carry you to glory. A brawl's brewing. The public loves itself some fisticuffs.
In the game, they do not pull any fucking punches on how adorable and giddy he is, my god. Throughout dialogue cutscenes, he is just so happy and charismatic. There's so many wonderful little flourishes he does that are just, oh, perfect. This is not in the script, but I meant to just draw him doing a little, like, happy, like, clapping kind of gesture. And then I looked into the gameplay, and they actually put that in, and I almost started crying from how cute it was. This is amazing. With his return, they take this opportunity to show us a brighter, happier side of him. He's much more in his element here, more debonair and charming, wanting to put on a good performance for his audience. He's much more confident too, what with owning an entire studio that's all to his control. I especially like how they added his own humorous reactions to the ratings climbing up at the end of every stage. He's very witty and fun. Though as kind and bubbly as he is here, well, some things just never change. Surprise! The Phantom's a stupid little idiot and planned to get his revenge on the heroes all along. Ooh, dang, what a silly little scamp. His new target this time is none other than Rayman, and oh man, is this a fun time. Remember how I harped on Phantom and Mario not fully looking at each other or making a connection? Here, that is amended right away with the very first shot, the two staring each other down. You can feel it, don't you?
Come back? Were you ever a thing, Rayman?
Also note that for this shot here, the camera is tilted in at a slight downward angle, putting ourselves in a much better POV shot for Rayman. I also love the way Phantom delivers this line in such a sassy way, and even gets up a little closer to his face to taunt him further. And his little bow of sorts to transition into his slide off screen is so good. The spotlights shine, the trumpets wail, and with that, it's showtime!
Now, for the millions watching, are you ready for my rant? Rayman is a gangly, goofy, brainless, hopeless headland.
I love everything about this song. Notice how things are framed much more clearly so we can see emotional reactions from the characters. Rayman is stuck in Phantom's game. Unlike Mario, he's right on stage with the ghost. Finally, we have a scene that gives us confirmation that Phantom is not singing about his target, but to them. Phantom is physically messing with Rayman, and you can see all the important feedback. Rayman's confusion and annoyance as he sings is so clear and so damn perfect. Meanwhile, Phantom's smug and charismatic expressions at Rayman and the audience are better than ever. I love Phantom's growing joy and exuberance while Rayman gets closer and closer to decking him. People have speculated that the Phantom's design, or his face mostly, has gone through some changes, some noting that on the whole his features have gotten rounder and softer. I've noticed there's less of this common rabbit mouth being used when he's singing, and this time they opt for more bean mouth shapes. His eyes are also way more expressive and clear, a hard feat for a guy with no eyebrows, but I think they finally got it down. A lot of the time in his debut, he's just staring out with these big wide eyes, like nary a thought behind them. But here, there's so much going on in his mind, you can just tell right away. Like, look at these expressions, then compare them to now. The difference is night and day. There's just way more going on here that just tickles me. This is the emotional complexity and range I was expecting with his first outing, and I am so happy we finally got it. I don't think the actual model has changed, rather just the way they go about posing and animating it. You can tell they've changed and solidified his expressions and movement way more, and the new things they have him do look so good. I could literally gush about like every shot in this song, but I'll list a few highlights. His cute little hip swing in the first part, the whole idea for this shot, this Rayman enemy cutout, this slow turn he does as the notes climb, building anticipation as it cuts back to Rayman and the others. At the end of the number, he's ascended so much that he can't hide how funny the joke is to him, belting out one big final note to bring the house down.
Flash in the pan, second fiddle to the Rabbids, Rayman.
In his second song, Phantom finally returns to his roots and gives us such a glow up from the original song in terms of performance and personality. Lots of great things going on here. The way he slowly turns around to Beepo and him looking stunned as the spotlight shines on him and he looks at the others like, oh shit, am I next? This cute shot with the light bulb, this vacuum cleaner jab. Finally, after all these years, someone said it. And it's not just Beepo, everyone gets a turn in the spotlight. Phantom's spotlight, that is. I love his jealous, spiteful self that comes to the forefront here. And God, is there anything better than over-the-top characters calling the protagonists odd nicknames and adjectives, displaying their own warped perspectives more than anything, and throwing aside who these people actually are?
The eggplant, the socialite, the weakling and the bore.
This number is who he really is at heart, and it's so wonderful to see. The orchestra swells in vigor, and through his sadness and anger, he uses his immense size and the power of his voice to declare who he is once and for all. I couldn't have been smiling harder, because I couldn't have said it better myself.
You'll never replace me. I'm the one the public adore.
At the end of it all, it's crazy to think about how little we were getting when he first appeared. Let me put it this way. Kingdom Battle was there to set up this character and be like, hey, this is what this is, a funny rabbit ghost that sings opera, basic info. And then the DLC just went, okay, but outside of a boss battle setting, this is who he is. The DLC expanded on his character so much, and it makes me so happy. What we got in this DLC makes so much more sense, and it makes you even wonder if fans really knew who he was. I'll do my best. The Phantom is two things. One is a spiteful, angry person, because he knows how good his talents are and refuses to let anyone, whoever his enemies may be, get in his way. He's better than everyone, at least in his mind, and yet with that, he loves the people who can idolize him in the same way. The Phantom is also debonair and campy, so confident that when he's in his element, he's able to be snarky and even sassy, so high up that he can't possibly think of anyone on his level. When something benefits him, he's bubbly and bright, unable to contain his joy. As a whole, he's not hard to understand. He loves the thrill of being on stage, showing off in boisterous, excessive fashion. So much so that it's really all he wants. He's the star. He's the main character in his world. And try as he and other people might, they all know there's room for no one else. Unless there's someone who can see his vision? Perhaps that's wishful thinking. Time and time again, it's shown he only cares for himself, and yet, it doesn't matter to us. You can't help but love him and love seeing him. Come on, you know why. His wit and charm, his amazing boundless voice, his humor, his dedication to spectacle and glamour and camp. He's simply nothing short of astounding. Before I close the curtain for the evening, one more thing I'd like to share with you all. This is Danse Macabre, a 19th century tone poem composed by Camille Saint-Saëns. It is a 7-minute piece that describes the rising of graves during Hallows' Eve, and their yearly dance for death. It's a jovial and energetic song with a strange and ominous tone, leading to an intense, heart-racing finale. This classical piece is public domain, and chances are you've heard it before in several places, already aware of its existence. I first found it a few years back when I was making an animatic for a teaser trailer for one of my stories, The Freak Show, and I instantly fell in love with it. I'm not usually one to listen to classical music, but man is this one a fun time. Highly recommend it if you somehow haven't listened to it or just want to hear the full thing. As I was doing research for this video, looking at wikis and examining Augustine's breadth of work, I happened to find this.
Zig, la en cadence frappant une tombe avec son talon. La mère à minuit joue un air de danse zig zig zac sur son violon.
He had actually performed this piece before. I was surprised. I had never heard of this song ever having words to sing, and yet here was a recording of just that. It's a nice thing when this happens. All my journeys of fixations and tangents give me knowledge and insight about things I had never known until one little push, one it factor that got me invested. I learned things that I never would have expected to learn. It's a wonderful feeling, really. It's like an answer to a call, something coming full circle, the completion of a statement. The universe sending me signs that where I'm going is a beautiful place to be, and that I'm welcome any time to come back for more. It's self-fulfilling, yet so natural. It's just what inevitably happens when you learn more about certain niches and fields, venturing off to find things I never would have known I would love, and doing so on my own merits. It's just so satisfying, and such a wonderful, wonderful thing to be a part of. This has been an amazing, wild ride for me. Within looking into a game I've never played to find a new character I now adore, I never would have thought I'd be rewarded with him standing in front of me, singing one of my favorite songs. It's been an experience I've enjoyed every moment of, and I can now truly say that thanks to multiple types of media coming together, animation, gaming, acting of all different types, writers, composers, designers, and even singers, to form a true symphony of story, to all come together and create a character that I can truly say is a masterpiece. Bravo to everyone involved at Nintendo and Ubisoft. Whether we see him again or not, though I really, really hope we do, I think it's fitting to say you've given us a national treasure. Thank you.
Belle nuit pour le pauvre monde, et vive la mort et l'égalité.
And that is it. We are done. Oh my goodness. I never thought I'd see this video get done. Like, this is a absolute first for me. I've never done a video essay before. I really hope you enjoyed it. I mean, if you're here at the end, then I suppose you did. So, thank you. A special thank you to David Soliani and Augustin Kamel and just the entire Mario Rabbids crew at Ubisoft. You guys absolutely knocked it out of the park, and this is from someone who hasn't even played the game. You all killed it. If there are any errors in this video that you cannot chalk up to just being artsy, I am dreadfully sorry about that. This is my first time doing any of this, and I do have other plans. I do have other ideas of other characters and other pieces of media to talk about. So yeah, this whole video was caused by a stupid hyperfixation, so let's hope that takes over my body once more to create something else in the future. Alright, thank you so much for watching again, and have a happy Halloween! Ooh, give that ghost a kiss! Okay, sorry, bye.